Satena tapasa tata brahmabhuto yada bhavat tato vishveshwaram yonim vishvasya jagatah patim dadarsha brisha durdarsham sarva devair abhishtutam aniyamsam anubhyascha brigadyascha brihattaram. Now after concluding the austerities, he saw that original master of the entire universe. He describes, Maheshwara is described here. He meditated on Maheshwara. So that's where the reply comes here. When that personality comes in front of him, that's where the reply comes. Vyasa says that, who is that personality? Maheshwara, Vishveshwaroham. Bhasmajabala Mahadeva says, Bhasmajabala Upanishad, Vishveshwaroham. I am that Lord of the universe, Vishva Ishvara. I am the Ishvara of the Vishwam. Yonim, I am the cause. I am the cause of everything. Vishvasya Jagatah Patim, I am the Pati. I am the Lord again of the universe. Jagatah Patim. Dadarsha Brisha Durdarsham Sarva Devair Abhishtutam. So he is the cause. He is the cause of all the devas too. Devatas like Brahma, Narayana, Indra, everybody. And then Aniyamsam Anubhyascha Brihadyascha Brihattaram. He was smaller than the smallest and larger than the largest. And this is a very, very important epithet also used in the Vedas and Upanishads. Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. He is the smaller than the smallest and larger than the largest. Atma Guhayam Nihitosya Chantoho Tamakratam Pashyati Vitashoko Dhatur Prasadan Mahimanamisham. Just by surrendering to that personality who is described as the smaller than the smallest and the larger than the largest, one gets rid of all sorrows and all pains, Upanishad says. And that's what Vyasa Maharshi describes. That personality was smaller than the smallest and larger than the largest. So how does he look like? That's where he goes on to say, Rudram Ishanam Vrishabam Haram Shambhum Kapardinam Chekitanam Param Yonim Tishtato Gacchataschaha Durvaranam Durdrisham Tigmam Manyum Mahatmanam Sarva Haram Prachetasam Divyam Chapa Mishudi Chadadanam Hiranya Varmanam Anantaviryam. Rudram. Rudra means he takes away all the sins. He takes away all the sorrows. Namo Bhavaya cha Rudraya cha Namak Sharvaya cha Pashupataye cha Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Very specific epithet for Lord Shiva. Rudra, he takes away all the sorrows. Ishanam, he is the ultimate Lord. Ishana means the supreme ruler. Tat paraat parato ishas tanme mana shiva sankalpamastu. Ishana, very specific. Utamritatvasyeeshanaha. Purusha Suktam says that personality named Ishana is referred to as, is immortality personified. Amritatvasya Ishanaha. That personality alone is immortal. He alone can grant immortality to all the Jivatmas. Haram means who takes away all the sins. And Shambhum. Shambhu comes very often. Shambhurakasha Madhye. Atharvashika Upanishad. He is in the heart of all the living entities. So that Daharakasha or Hridayakasha, one should meditate on Maheshwara alone in the heart. Shiva Eko Dhyeyaha. That comes. And Shambhu comes also in the Rudram, middle of the Vedas. Namah Shambhave cha Mayo Bhave cha Namak Shamkaraya cha Mayaskaraya cha Namak Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha. Shambhu means one who does good to, he is the doer of good. He is the doer of good to all the jivas and also to the entire universe. Kapardinam. He had matted locks of hair. That personality who was standing in front of Narayana, had matted locks of hair. So Jati Charmi Shikandi cha. Shiva Sahasranamam also says Kapardam. Kapardi comes 5 times in Rudram. Kapardine Chavyukta Keshaya Chanamak Sagasrakshaya Chashatatanvane Chanamo. Kapardi comes 5 times in Rudram, which means he has matted locks of hair. Mahadeva has beautiful matted locks of hair. And what is that? Complexion Pingala Jata. Jwalantam Pingala Jata. Pingala Jata. Pingala Jata, he has like golden hair. Lagunyasam describes. And Chekitanam means who is the infuser of life into every form. We exist, we are able to do our actions only by the grace of Lord Shiva. Chekitanam, who is the infuser of life into every form. So speaking of this, Rig Vedam, 9th canto, 83rd chapter, 1st verse says, Pavitram te vitatam brahmanaspate prabhurgatrani paryeshi vishvataha atapta tanurna tadamo ashnute shartasa idavahantas samashata. He enters, he activates the Jiva Atmas by entering into them and residing in their heart. Only then, because, otherwise we are just, dead bodies. It is only Mahadeva who is residing in the heart, because of which we are able to do our activities and do our karmic activities. Those kind of things. So, Chekitanam, very important word. One who is the infuser of life into every form, every Jivatma, including Brahma and Vishnu. Param Yonim, he is the first cause. He is the ultimate cause of all the mobile and immobile things. Chetanam, Achetanam. We are all Chetana. Like human beings, everything, animals are all Chetanam. Achetanam means, the chair or, you have the table. Those kind of things do not have life. So the one that has life in it and the one that doesn't have life in it, he is the ultimate cause of that. Isha Vasyam Idagam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. Mahadeva is described as the ultimate controller of the living, living and the non-living. That is mobile and immobile. Chetanam and Achetanam. And then who is Manyu? He is also described as Tigma Manyum. Where does it Manyu come? Very first verse of Rudram. Namaste Rudra Manyava Uto Manyu. Manyu means anger personified. And he is not, actually that is not his original nature. Many people say that, okay, that is his original nature. No, Mahadeva is Saumya. But he takes that anger personified forms. That's where Shrikanta Radhya comes to our rescue. First Adhyayam, 4th Padam, 29th Sutram. He clarifies, Mahadeva takes these anger personified forms to punish the wicked. He sent his Amsha, Veerabhadra, to destroy the Daksha Yajna, including Brahma and Vishnu. And then he himself took the form of Sharabeshwara to destroy the Ahankara of Narasimha. But Mahadeva has a Saumya Rupa, Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Trinetram Panchavaktakam. Mahatmanam Sarvaharam Prachetasam Divyam Chapa Mishudi Chadadanam. Who has a very large heart, who is ready to give anything the Jivatma wants. And then who has a celestial bow with a couple of quivers, and this is also told in the Rudram. Namaste astu danvane bahubhyam utate namaha. Obeisances, that is pranams to your hand, pranams to the bow in your hand, pranams to the quiver, the arrow that you are holding in the bow in your hand, O Mahadeva. Very first verse. So that's how Vyasa also describes here, and who is having a golden armor. This golden is a very, very specific epithet, again, very, very commonly used for Lord Shiva all over the Vedas and Upanishads. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apigitam mukam dattvam poshan apavrno satyadharmaya drishtaye. Ishavasya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that Ishavasya Upanishad, verse 16, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, 5th canto, 15th chapter, says that. So which means the golden effulgence is coming out of you, O Mahadeva. I am interested in seeing that Mukham, the face of that personality which is hidden with the golden effulgence. That's what is told. And also Rukmabam comes in the Mundaka Upanishad. Hiranmaye Pare Koshe. And Suvarna Jyotihi. Suvarna also means golden. Namo Hiranyabhave Hiranyavarnaya Hiranyarupaya Hiranyapatayembika Pataya Umapataye Pashupataye Namo Namaha. Hiranyabahu, his hands are golden. His form is also golden. Hiranyaya Namaha Hiranyalingaya Namaha. So this gold is a very specific epithet. Yellow and gold is a very specific epithet used for Lord Shiva in the Vedas. Krishna Pingalam. Krishna refers to Parashakti, that is dark, and Pingala means yellow or golden, that is Mahadeva. Krishna Pingalam Ritakam Satyam Param Brahma Purusham Krishna Pingalam Urdvaretam Virupaksham Vishwarupam Namamyaham. Ananta Viryam, whose energy is infinite. He has infinite energy. That Mahadeva was standing in front of, along with, he was also with another personality. So that's going to come, And speaking of the word Manyu Suktam is there in the Rig Vedam. I see a lot of new people have joined also. So I just wanted to expand on each and everything. So a lot of other people would have heard this, but it will be a repetition. But please don't mind. So Manyu Suktam comes in the Rig Vedam 10th canto, 83rd chapter and the 84th chapter. 10th canto, 83rd and 84th. Manyu Suktam, 14 verses. So that is also referring to Lord Shiva only. Sharabha Avataram, where Sharabha, he takes the form of Sharabeshwara and destroys. He destroys the Ahankara of Narasimha. Nrisimha Charmambaradara, he peels the skin of Narasimha and wears it as a garment. And that is why he is called as Krittivasa. Krittivasa means one who is having the skin of Narasimha as his garment. Comes in the Vedas. Yaste manyo vidat vajrasayakasaha ojak pushyati vishvamanushak sahyamada samaryam tvaya ayuja sagaskritena sagasa sagasvata. This is how the Manyu Suktam starts. Very beautifully, glorifying Lord Shiva alone. Pinakinam vajrinam deeptashulam parashvadim gadinam chayatasim shubram chatilam musalinam chandramaulim vyagrajinam paridinam dandapanim. He has various weapons. His weapons are beautifully described here. Pinakinam, he has the pinaka bow, and vajrinam, thunderbolt. And then he has the shulam, trident. And he also has the battle axe. Parashu. Bhargavarama became Parashurama because he obtained the battle axe from Mahadeva. That's how he was called as Parashurama. And he has the mace and he has a very large sword whose eyebrows are also fair. Mahadeva is Shuddha Spatika Sankasha. He is either described as camphor white or, golden. He is not described as blue as a lot of pictures in Google say. And whose locks are matted. Shubram Jatilam. We saw that. Jatilam. Who is clad with the tiger skin. Sometimes Mahadeva is having the skin of Narasimha or the skin of tiger or the skin of elephant or the skin of deer as his garment. So here he is described as wearing the tiger skin. And who also has various weapons and who was decorated with bracelets. Shubhangadam Naga Yajñopavitinam. Another interesting verse, very interesting say. Naga Yajñopavitinam comes in the Rudra Lagunyasam also. So every Deva or Asura has a Yajñopavita. Like Yajñopavita means the sacred thread. But for Mahadeva, Naga Yajñopavitinam, that Nagam Vasuki himself is the Yajñopavita of Mahadeva. So that's why Naga Yajñopavitinam. Nagam itself was present as his Yajñopavita. Vishvair Ganai Shobitam Bhutasangai Eki Bhutam Tapasam Sannidanam Vayotigai Sushtu Tamishtavagbihi. So all the Ganas were present. Shiva Ganas also come along with Mahadeva, and another lady was also there. We are going to see how the lady is also described. Eki Bhutam, he is one without a second, and he is the abode of ascetic austerities. All the people who do austerities, they always aspire to attain him alone, not anybody else. Who is highly adorned, people of different ages always adore him, and that's what is told. So speaking of this, I want to mention, there is a beautiful verse. So we saw this attributes. This is one of the beautiful meditations. All the weapons are described for Mahadeva. So this talks of the 5-headed and 10-handed form of Lord Shiva. That's where all these weapons are present. So that's a beautiful meditation where Mahadeva is with 5 heads. Sadyojata, Vamadeva, Agora, Tatpurusha, Ishana, and then he has 10 hands. 10 hands, beautiful 10 hands. So that's where the Dhyana Shlokam is there. In the Shiva Sahasranamam also in the Shiva Sahasranama video also I would have recited. Shantam Padmasanastam Shashidara Panchavakram Trinetram Shulam Vajram Chakadgam Parashumabhayadam Dakshabhage Vahantam Nagam Pasham Chagantam Pralaya Hutavaham Sankusham Vamabhage Nana Lankara Yuktam Spatikamani Nibam Parvatisham Namami. So Padmasanastam Shantam. He is Shanta Swarupi, and then he is described as Panchavaktra. He has 5 heads and then 3 eyes in each head. So 15 eyes. And then it describes all the weapons in his right hands. What all? So he has a Trishula, he has a Vajra, he has a sword, and he has the Parashu, and he has the sign of refuge, Abhayamudra. These are all represent his right hands. And the left hands, in the left hands he has a snake. Nagam, Pasham, he has the Pasha. Pashupati, Pasham. With the Pasham only he binds all the jivas, and then he removes the Pasham and he also gives Mukti. Pasham, Chagantam, he has the bell and he has the fire. And then he also has a elephant goad, that is another weapon. So this is how the Agamas describe. This is a very beautiful meditation of Lord Shiva. And interestingly, all the weapons that are described in the Dhyana Shlokam, the Panchamukha Parameshwara, Panchamukha Dashabhuja, in the Panchamukha Parameshwara Dhyana Shlokam, all are mentioned by Vyasa here again. So this is how Mahadeva showed his divine form in front of Narayana. He had a large sword, he had a mace, he had a thunderbolt, he had a blazing trident, he had a battle axe, and he had bracelets all over. This is how you have to, this is good for meditating Mahadeva in the heart. So, and then again, Kurma Puranam also, first canto, 25th chapter, has the same description of Lord Shiva. That's where Krishna meditates on Lord Shiva after getting, receiving Shiva Diksha from Upamanyu Maharshi. He meditates intensely on Mahadeva. Kiritinam Gadinam Chitramalam Pinakinam Shulinam Devadevam Shardula Charmambara Samvrutangam Devya Mahadeva Masau Dadarsha Prabhum Puranam Purusham Purastat. Prabhum, he is the Lord. Puranam, he is the oldest. He is the oldest of the oldest. Jeshta Namo Jeshtaya cha Kanishtaya cha Namak Purvajaya cha Parajaya cha Namo Madhyamaya cha Vakalpaya cha Namo. He is the oldest of the oldest. Vamadevaya Namo Jeshtaya Namak Shreshtaya Namo. The best of all, the greatest of all, the oldest of all. Purusham, Purusho Vai Rudraha. Mahadeva is the supreme reality. Sanatanam. Sanatana word itself will fit for Mahadeva alone, because he alone is eternal. Brahma Vishnu Indra Munayor Janma Mrityu Jaraditaha. Matsya Puranam 154th chapter 180th verse. Even Brahma, Narayana and Indra are bound to birth, old age, disease and death. But Mahadeva alone is that ageless personality. So, and again the same descriptions. Anoraniyamsam Ananta Shaktim Praneshwaram Shamba Masau Dadarsha. Very similar descriptions given in the Kurma Puranam also. So I just wanted to bring that. And then it goes on. Jalam Disham Kam Kshitim Chandra Suryau Tata Vai Vagni Pramimanam Jagacha Nalam Drashtum Yam Jana Binna Vritta Brahmad Vishagnam Amritasya Yonim. And who represents earth, water, fire, air and ether. Agniriti Basma, Vayuriti Basma, Vyometi Basma, Jalamiti Basma, Stalamiti Basma, Atharvashiras Upanishad. Everything earth, water, fire, air and ether are the energies of Mahadeva. They are actually, everything is represents, everything is Basma. That's what is told in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. And also each and everything is represented by Maheshwara. In Tamil Nadu there are various temples. He represents earth as Ekambaranatha. He represents water as Jambukeshwara. He represents Agni as Tiruvannamalai Arunachaleshwara. He represents wind as Jnana Prasanambika Sameta Kalahastishwara. And then as in the space he represents the ether. He represents Chidambara Nataraja. So everything has a sthalam behind it. And Shambhur Akasha Madhye. We saw that in the Atharvashika Upanishad. Mahadeva is that personality who is who should be meditated upon in the heart. That Akasha, that Chidambaram is present in our heart. That Nataraja, beautiful Nataraja, that golden personality is dancing in our heart. We have to meditate on him. So that's what is told here, and all of them are his attributes. And then who is the measure of the duration of the universe, and time is under his control. Persons of wicked behavior can never obtain a sight of that unborn one. Very beautiful. Unborn one. That unborn personality can never be, can never be understood by people of wicked behavior. By Shiva Dveshis can never understand Mahadeva. And he is the giver of emancipation. He is the ultimate giver of moksha. Mahadevam vinayomam bhajate shraddhaya saha nasti tasya vinir mokshaha samsara janma kotibihi. Krishna says to Satyasanda, one who casts aside Mahadeva and then worships me for crores of years, even then he will not attain mukti. Because Mahadeva is the only object of meditation. By casting aside Mahadeva, if someone worships me, he will never get mukti. Krishna says to his dear devotee. So he directs his dear devotee to go and worship Mahadeva alone if you want moksha. Yam pashyanti brahmanaha sadhuvrittah kshine pape manasa vitashokaha tam nishpatantam tapasa dharmamidyam tadbhaktya vai vishwarupam tadarsha drishtva chainam vangano buddhi dehaihi samkhrushtatma mumude vasudevaha. Only people of righteous conduct and completely cleansed from their sins will be able to behold Mahadeva in front of them. And then in consequence of the various austerities that Narayana Vasudeva did, he obtained a sight of that, unborn one. So that personality who has universe for his form, Brahmanda Vyapta Deha, everything is his anga basically. The universe, be the jivas, all the jivas and jagat are his part and parcel. And he is present as the antaratma of the entire universe and also of all the jivas, starting from the blade of a grass till Vishnu. Akshamala parikshiptam jyoti Akshamala parikshiptam jyotisham paramam nidim tato narayano drishtva vavande vishvasambhavam varadam prutucharvangata parvatya sahitam prabhum kridamanam mahatmanam bhuta sanganair vritam. So here the lady who is eternally with Maheshwara is introduced here. So he is with the Shiva Ganas, and then here Mahadeva Parashakti beautifully is introduced here. So Akshamala, he has the Rudrakshas around his neck. So all these things I'm expanding on because it will be easier for us to meditate on Lord Shiva. This is how you have to meditate. This is one of the various forms. The various forms are there. Panchamukha Parameshwara, Ekamukha Sadashiva, Dakshinamurti, Bhikshatana, Kalyana Sundaramurti, Uma Maheshwara, Ardhanarishwara, and various forms are there to meditate on Mahadeva. So I'm expanding on this in detail. This is how Mahadeva appears in front of Narayana to give him boons. So we have to meditate on that, like that. So he has Rudrakshas all over his body. And then Vasudeva was filled with delight, which he could not express by words or, or through body. So he was completely delighted. Sometimes, when you have that, intense, when you have that intense happiness, you cannot express your happiness through words. So in that state, Vasudeva, that is Narayana, was. And after seeing the Supreme Lord, and that Narayana worshipped that first cause of the universe. He is the first cause, original cause of the universe, the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. Omarda Deham Varadam Sarva Karana Karanam. Yoga Tattva Upanishad and Yoga Yajnavalkya Smriti says that. Yoga Yajnavalkya Smriti. And then, in 8th chapter, and then Yoga Tattva Upanishad, I think it is the 100th and the 100th verse to the 102nd verse. So says, Umarda Deham Varadam. He is eternally with Uma. Uma is sitting in the left lap of Maheshwara, and then Varadam, he is giving boons, and he is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Even Panchabrahma Upanishad describes him to be the cause of all causes. And then he was sporting with the Parvati Mata. Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum Trilochanam Neelakantam Prashantam. He is eternally with Parashakti. He is Neelakanta, he is blue-throated, he is Trilochanam, he is three-eyed. That personality, only by meditating on that personality, Aditya Varnam Tamasak Parastad, one can go beyond tamas. One can go beyond the shackles of the repeated cycles of birth and death. One can go beyond the repeated cycles of birth and death by meditating on this personality, Maheshwara, who is eternally with Uma, who is Neelakanta, who is Parameshwara, who is Prabhu, and who is Trilochana, who is three-eyed. Kaivalya Upanishad. So like that, Mata is beautifully described everywhere along with Paramashiva. Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha Namaks Tamraya cha Runaya cha. Soma. Shiva plus Uma is Soma. 8th Anuvakam of Rudram. Somah pavate janita matinam janita divo janita prithavyaha. 996.5 Rigvedam. Shiva along with Uma begets, everything. The entire universe, the Prithvi, the earth, and also Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Agni, Surya, etc. Himavadgiri Kanyakaha, Kailasa Shikarabasa, Himavadgiri Kanyakaha, Neelakantam, Trinetram cha Tanme Manashiva Sankalpamastu. Mahadeva is eternally present in Parakailasha along with the daughter of the mountains. Who is the daughter of mountains? Parashakti. And Neelakantam, Trinetram cha. Same attributes are described. Hiranya, he is also golden. Moving on. Ajam Ishanam Avyaktam Karanatmanam Achyutam. Mahadeva here is described as Achyuta. Unfading one. Vyasa attributes his word Achyuta. Every name, even Vishnu, Narayana, Vasudeva, Achyuta, Hari refers to Lord Shiva only originally. Shiva Namams are Rudam. Told by Parashara Maharshi and also told by Suta Maharshi. So very specific to Lord Shiva. So Karanatmanam Achyutam. He is the cause of all causes. Ahameva Jagatkarta Mamakarta Maheshwaraha. Narayana says, I am the cause of this universe, O Vyasa. When Vyasa was bound by Ahankara, Narayana said, I am the cause of this universe, O Vyasa, but Mamakarta Maheshwaraha. The cause of me is Maheshwara. He doesn't have a cause. He alone is the cause of all causes. Karanam Karananam Vyatha Karanam tu Dhyeyaha. That cause of all causes alone should be meditated upon. Dhyeyaha. Karanam tu Dhyeyaha. And who is that personality? Shiva Eko Dhyeyaha. Same Upanishad says. Atharvashika. Ajam. Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. Ajayamano. He is the birthless personality. Ishanam. Ayonija is another name, interesting name. Ayonija means one who is not born through a womb. That also refers to Maheshwara only. Right? Ishanam. And Ishanam we have seen. He is the ultimate ruler. Very specific epithet again used. Ishas. Tatparaat parato Ishas tanme manashiva sankalpamastu. Utamritatvasyeeshanaha avyaktam. He is unmanifest. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam. Kaivalya Upanishad says. Unmanifest. And he is the cause of all causes. Abhivadhyata, Rudraya, Abhivadhyata. He saluted Mahadeva. Narayana saluted Maheshwara, Parashakti along with the Shiva Ganas. So here it says Maheshwara, he saluted Maheshwara, but that includes Parashakti is also included in that. Parashakti is the another half of Maheshwara, and the Shiva Ganas are also without the blessings of the Shiva Ganas, one cannot understand Lord Shiva, and without the blessings of Parashakti, one cannot understand Lord Shiva. So they are inclusive. So he says, having saluted Mahadeva. So this is recounted again, guys. Some new people joined. This is recounted in the Drona Parvam. Ashwattama is completely confused because his weapon did not work. He tried to throw his weapon, Narayanaastra, and to destroy the Pandavas, but he was not able to do that. So, and then he murmurs to Vyasa Maharshi. He comes across Vyasa Maharshi and then he says this, why I was not, why my weapon failed. And that's where Vyasa Maharshi recounts this story. So for people who have joined recently. And then he saluted, Narayana saluted Maheshwara, the destroyer of Andhakasura. We saw Andhaka also, Andhakasura. He tried to, attract, he tried to have Parvati Mata for himself. But he finally realized his mistake. And then he begs to Maheshwara for pardon. And Andakasura's Ahankara was destroyed by Maheshwara himself and he becomes Bringi. So even Andakasura says, Brahmam cha Vaishnavam Aindram. I'm not interested in the positions of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra because they are temporary, ephemeral. I just want Ganadipatyam. I just want to serve you eternally. I want the post of the Ganas, the chief of the Ganas, and serve you eternally in Parakailasha. Skanda Mahabharata, 5th canto, 1st section, 38th chapter, 28th verse for people who want to refer. So, yeah. And then Virupaksham. Padmakshastam Virupaksham Abhitushtava Bhaktiman. So then, Narayana, after filling completely with emotion, he started praising Virupaksha. Virupaksha is 3-8 personality. Urdhvaretam Virupaksham. Virupaksha means one who has odd eyes. Odd. Odd is like number 3 is odd, right? So all the devas have 2 eyes only. Mahadeva alone has 3 eyes. Very unique personality.